Hello. So we're starting a little bit early, 3 minutes early actually. Just want to make sure everyone can hear me. Thanks for the 3 people who already liked the video. Appreciate that. Bonjour, Paul. Hello, Fred. Happy to hear Harvest is complete in the books. Hello, Bill B. Colette. Did I say hi to Mike G? Hi, Mike G. Hope all is well in Minnesota, Mike. And then it sounds like Tucson and Ohio are similar. So it's like I think the high today was like 70. So I don't know what that is in Celsius. If I do my quick math, what is that? Gosh, is that like 15 Celsius? Anyway, 20. Okay. So yeah, feeling pretty good overall. Been on cold meds for symptom management pretty much, but so definitely my immune system has benefited from all these shots I've had in the past. So that's good. But all in all, on the mend, so that's nice. And then today we're going to do, well, I won't actually, I'll wait another minute to say that, but, and then I don't know if I'm filling in for Jeff or not yet. I don't know. I probably should ask Jeff what our plan for Sunday is. We know that he is going to be traveling, or at least tied up at that conference. So yeah. And hello, the folks just joining, as Quinn and Ruth, as always, and Brian Sweeney. Hello. Yeah, so I don't know if I'm the host or guest host, I should say, on Sunday yet or not. But yeah, so there'll be some news. If you're not signed up for Jeff's newsletter, you should totally do that, because that'd be one way to find out what's going on. There's a few folks that are new to subscribing to this channel, and if you haven't, you can send me an email. Just posted it in the chat, and send that email over, and I can add you. I sent out a reminder about an hour ago, and then I post reminders on Instagram, not all the time, but under Leonards.coaching. So that is my attempt at giving you that information. So who am I? I'm Andrew. I'm a certified mindfulness meditation coach. I am a software engineer by trade and training, and I am sometimes a donor to the American Red Cross. I did a donation recently, got my blood donation in. And most people will know me as the sometimes fill-in guest host and often moderator for the Do Nothing Project. So right now what we're doing is revisiting the Do Nothing technique at its core, and we're going to do 25 minutes today. The 25 minutes will have just a basic sort of setup at the beginning to get our posture right, kind of arrive where we're at, and then we'll sort of lean all the way into do nothing. If you want to think about your whole day as sort of a series of musical actions, this is the musical rest, where we kind of put down all the instruments and we don't do anything. Pause. So that is one way of looking at it. I also like to crib from Jeff often, where you're pedaling to get through your day, taking all the actions that you need to do, being a human doing, and then this is a chance to be. So it's funny how that idea of just being is it kind of bugs some people and not others. So definitely it kind of goes back and forth on that. So welcome to those just joining. So again, 25-minute sit. Yeah. And then if I'm not the guest host, then I got to figure out who is. So for this, for some folks that didn't attend on Do Nothing Project on Sunday, Jeff mentioned that he's going to be traveling. He's attending this wellness event in wellness well-being event in Florida, and they're doing a meditation party for it. So 7A Dan and Jeff will be there, and that's going to tie Jeff up. So on one hand, maybe it'll be Brooke. I don't know. I didn't hear Jeff call out Brooke again like he did live impromptu. But yeah, so we'll see. I think that's it. I don't have any updates on things with Ralph, and yeah, it could be Toby. That's a good point, Paul. I do think we don't have Jude set up to guest host, so that's one of the things that I think we've been meaning to do, but I don't know that we can get that done in time. Could be Tasha. So there's a new MindBot Adventure Pod that came out today. Tim Huang, who I got to meet in person at Omega this year, is the guest. And Tim's a really talented mindfulness teacher, lives in the New York area, and does a lot with neurodiversity. So check that out, and I'll promote that on Sunday probably too. But yeah, that just came out today. I think if you're signed up for the emails, you would have gotten that. So on mindbodpod.com, is that what it is? I should know this. I have my links written down usually. Yes, it is mindbodpod. All right. So enough of me talking about web addresses that I may or may not know. I've got a striker and I know how to use it. So again, the goal is to play with or revisit very, very minimal practice with the do nothing technique over the next 6 weeks. So this is edition 2. And if I remember, these are all going to be in a playlist. So, all right. Got 25 minutes on the clock if I put it in the right place. And we're going to do nothing. I'll invite the bell. We'll see how much I cough. All right. Hopefully, yep, I got a little bit of water. All right. So, really at the top, just getting settled in. Beginning with our posture. I want to always remind you that I'm going to focus on the seated posture, either in a chair, on a bench, or a cushion. But you could be standing, lying down, or even walking. Really, we're aiming for our posture to be one that helps us support being mostly still. We don't want to kind of hold ourselves too rigid, but we want to be able to have sort of this like fluid stillness where we move a little and then get still. We can do that with on one level kind of sitting with our bones, arranging ourselves in a way that we don't have to effort to stay upright. And then as we begin, really kind of just nodding to whatever is already here. So if you've had a frustrating day, you may have some frustrating emotions in the body. And being okay with that. Just like, hey, there's frustration. I see you, not chasing you away. And then really kind of capping off our sort of initialization process with a few deliberate breaths. During the sit, we're not controlling the breath, but right now, just seeing if we can guide the breath to be slow and low. That's the tempo that we're going for. And when we're breathing through the nose, it will be naturally slow, and that slowness can allow us to breathe into the belly. And then on the turnaround, sort of extending and accentuating the exhale. So our sit tonight really is in that position of sort of sitting and knowing that you're sitting, just light awareness. And my last little pointer is a reminder, just in the notion that we're kind of allowing ourselves to be as we are, and we're not really trying to do anything to control our attention. And so, for the most part, I will let you sit all on your own, and I will just sort of appear probably about halfway through with a few thoughts. So one report we often get with do nothing is sort of, I felt like I was thinking the whole time. So one notion is really allowing the thoughts to bubble up and just seeing if we can let the thoughts bubble and fade. So we're not following along or we're not adding to that train of thought. And if you notice that you're kind of adding to the thought and turning it into thinking, that's okay. Just seeing that is a benefit and trying to see if you can let that go and kind of come back to this open stance. And if you're feeling frustrated, one thing is to come back to the body, ground yourself in the body a bit, and then come back to the technique. I'll ring the bell to signal that our sit has completed. Thank you for your practice. Thank you for making time in your week to be here. So appreciate that for all the folks that are here live. And then I always want to acknowledge the folks that I know are watching the recordings. I do see the numbers go up over time, so I know that you're there. Yeah, if you have any reports, questions, or anything else, you are totally welcome to post that over in chat. You're incredibly welcome, Paul and Catherine and Bill B. and Ruth, as always. Cough's not that bad. It's just my cold medicine that I've been using to manage my symptoms is running out, so I didn't think about that. I will say, not to try to put a rosy disposition on being sick, but being sick and or sometimes being sleep deprived are incredibly clarifying. No, on the brandy. But being sick and or being sleep deprived, they can be kind of doors into aspects of mindfulness that you just like are normally processing kind of right past. And so, like I had a whole high fidelity feeling of my chest and my esophagus and all that, trying to figure out, okay, am I going to cough? Can I mute myself before I do? So that sort of thing. And on cue. And there is something about that. I think you notice this sometimes on retreat when you haven't slept. So it can be, sometimes retreats are designed to kind of create this like sleep deprivation. On many of the Shinzen retreats, I know they do, I think it's called Yaza, where basically everybody sits through the night. Like they try to sit in meditation all through the night. I've done that a couple times, and it is an interesting attempt. There also is a certain amount of camaraderie with everybody that kind of decides to plunge into that and then stay in the Zendo. So again, I don't know exactly who's your host for Sunday. So if it ends up being me, I may draft you into service as a moderator, Fred. And then we'll be back at it next week. I wish for Ralph. I need to introduce Jeff and Ralph. I know Ralph knows of Jeff, but I don't know that Jeff knows of Ralph. Okay. Yeah, that not everybody's up for the all night sit. Yeah, I don't know that I would do it now, to be really honest. When I was first starting out as a practitioner, I would have been like 32, somewhere in that range, early 30s. Seemed like a really interesting idea at the time. Glad I did it, but yeah, it is definitely interesting. Yeah, that's the old Zen stick to the back. What's the name for it? Like Kaizaku, I think is something like that. So I've gotten to hold one. One of them, we don't use them in my Zendo, but one of our practitioners has one, and it was much more bendy than I would have imagined, I guess. But it's funny because you always the Zen, the stick is used more in, or at least my understanding is that it's used more on the Rinzai side of things. The lineage that I practice in is more on the Soto side. but Soto definitely used it in the past. There are stories in Ehe Dogen's super great book, or tome, the Shobogenzo, about him being next to people that had gotten hit with the stick. So, oh wow. Yeah, that's true. Shinzen was in Shingon, and Shingon would be the Vajrayana version, or that's in the Vajrayana turning. But yes, I would believe that. I would definitely believe that. All right. It's almost top of the hour. Thanks again, everyone. Stay tuned. Like I said, if you're not signed up for Jeff's newsletter, maybe the easiest way to know who's going to be the host is to have the newsletter. That'll come out on Saturday. And then the other lo-fi thing is to just come and see who's there. So that's the other. That might be the most do nothing way, is just show up. I guess another do nothing approach would be not come, but we would prefer if you come. So yeah, glad it was a good sit. I will definitely feel better by then. I think every day I'm getting a little bit better. So, all right. Have a great rest of your week. And if you're in Australia or past the international dateline, have an excellent Thursday afternoon. Bye. And thanks for the likes.